I'm here in LA, I'm doing a training camp, a good time, good weather, getting ready for the season ahead. If we aren't at tip-top shape by the first race, we're going to struggle for the rest of the year. You can imagine how, with the limited time that we have throughout this year, with the amount of training we actually get to do, it's almost to a point where it's 1 day or 2 days a week if we're lucky. So you can imagine if we don't get that base done before February, it's an uphill battle from there.
This part of the season is really important for us in terms of our preparation for that first race weekend. It's really about focusing on what Alex needs physically to be able to meet the demands of not just obviously that first race weekend, but to be able to repeat that consistently across the season and maintain the same level of physical performance. It's also a key period in terms of building his aerobic base, so his oxidative capacity, so that he can exist in the car for extended periods of time across race weekends, and again repeating that, and then building on his anaerobic capacity, which means being able to compete at those higher end heart rates when things get a little bit more intense in the car. So this is a really key period for us in terms of how we physically prepare him for that first race in March. For us, a big part of that is putting some muscle mass on, so we'll spend 3-4 weeks in January doing a lot of hypertrophy work to try and build some mass on Alex, and then try and keep that weight on Alex across the season as he tries to meet the demands of those race weekends.
We are trying to put on strength before the season, especially once we're in it. It can be pretty difficult to train, not having that much opportunity to build muscles. Our main areas of focus would be kind of, as you can see, my shoulders and up. That's where a lot of the forces come from. Doing strength, we are managing our weight a little bit with it, but generally it's a bit of endurance and a bit of outright power. Generally speaking, I live by myself in Monaco. I don't have Patrick with me. We like to keep things a little bit separate, so for us, a lot of the stuff that I do over Christmas, as we're spending time with our own families, he will write me a program which I follow through an app. And then once we're kind of approaching early January, that's when Patrick flies over to LA and we kind of pretty much live together and block out 3-4 weeks where we're just going at it.
So obviously at the minute we're doing double days, we're doing 6 days a week, so it's high energy load. So we want to be in an energy surplus, so that he's got physically enough fuel in his body to meet the demands of the sessions that we're doing. Obviously we want to overtrain him a little bit, and that's how physiological adaptation comes about, but it's a balance between that element of overtraining and supporting his recovery. And that's where the nutrition really comes in, is how do we support the recovery. So one, it's fuel well, but also post exercise and post load, it's how do we help him recover. And with that, particularly with the hypertrophy work that we do, we add in high protein elements such as whey protein, whey isolate, that help him recover in terms of both his muscle function but general bodily function as well.
Recovery wise, a little bit of mobility afterwards. We might jump into some Normatec gear or an oxygen chamber, ice bath, which I hate. Very dependent on the situation. So, we're trying to get the most performance we can, use these days that we've got that are very sacred to us. It's our only free opportunity to train properly week in, week out. The recovery is so important to make sure we can get the quantity and the quality in.
So to help support us to maximise this part of the season, we need some really good quality products, and Myprotien give us access to that. And when you put all of those factors together, the planning, the environment, the support structures like our sleep and nutrition, what you end up with is a really solid pre-season that sets Alex up not only for that first race in March, but also for the rest of the season.